You are Mr. Arajeta Escobar.
Yes, sir.
So you're charged with deadly conduct. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Officers were conducting an undercover investigation in response to a street takeover in Harris County, Texas. Officers observed defendant's car doing donuts with another car in a pit of around 75 to 80 vehicles, while approximately 30 pedestrians watched. Officers observed defendant's car come within 5 to 10 feet of other vehicles and pedestrians and nearly strike the other car several times.
So he's doing donuts. Okay. Sir, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Do you have a Texas driver license?
No.
You are not allowed to drive. I want to impress on you how much it really chaps my ass. Someone drives without a license. Do not drive at all for any reason. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You will be signing an affidavit with me today, promising me you're not going to drive. And if I find that you drive, and I don't care what your reason is, I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing 6 months of jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. I don't care what your excuse is. You cannot justify it for any reason. Do you understand? United States. Are you in this country with or without permission? Really? What kind of permission do you have?
Oh, no, sir.
So what happens if you go to jail? Don't tell him, Max. I want him to think about it. What happens if you go to jail? How?
I'm pretty sure I get deported.
Not pretty sure. You will. You need to realize that if you go to jail, you will get an immigration detainer. You will sit there in our jail until this case is over with. And then you'll be shipped off to immigration jail. And then you're going to sit there for another 6 to 9 months waiting for whatever's going to happen. And you sit there, you'll lose about 9 months of your life. No more bone-headed moves. And I will do everything in my power to protect this public. And I don't care if we have to drag you off kicking and screaming and crying that I have a family here, I've got kids. We don't care. We care about public safety. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Number one. Number two, the Texas legislature has made it extremely easy for DAs across the entire state of Texas to seize and take cars for people who engage in this type of behavior, be it donuts, racing, street takeovers, whatever it may be. DAs now are seizing and taking cars from individuals, and you don't get your car back. Do you understand? You are on notice now. So if you pick up another one of these cases, very likely that they seize and take your car, and that's it. You'll be taking the Dodge Patas everywhere. Do you understand? Okay, I'm going to have you come up here. You will swear to us that you're not going to drive. After that, I will have you go to Victoria. We will have you sign a reset. You have a lawyer. It is your responsibility to stay in touch with Max, and he will tell you if and when you have to come back to court. If Max tells me that he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, or if you pick up another case, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. You will not get any more PR bonds. And what I'm trying to tell you, if you go back to jail and sit there for any more than 4 hours, that's when immigration gets that detainer on you. Because they sweep it on a daily basis. Do you understand? You will not get any more warnings from us. So take it as you will. All right, come on. Thanks, Max.
For an arraignment on Mr. Yusuf.
Good morning, Mr. Youssef. Do you speak English, sir?
A little bit.
Would you like a translator?
No, I mostly I can understand.
You were charged with theft. If there's something that you don't understand, please let me know, okay? You were charged with theft You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On October 1st, 2024, officers were dispatched to 7051 Southwest Freeway in Harris County, Texas for a theft in progress. Officers arrived and met with the complaining witness, who is employed as a general manager at the Texas Jasmine Wholesale. He stated the defendant walked into the store and purchased items from the tobacco section, including many cartons of cigarettes. He stated the defendant paid for those items, and they were placed in 2 large cardboard boxes in his cart. Complainant stated defendant left the registers at the tobacco section and began to walk around the rest of the store. Complaining witness stated defendant placed items from the general merchandise section into these cardboard boxes of items he had already paid for. Said defendant placed $182 worth of batteries, lights, condoms, and M&Ms into his cart. Complaining witness states the defendant left the store to the parking lot without paying for these extra items.
You say batteries, lights, and condoms
And M&Ms.
and M&Ms. And what's the value?
$182.
I show a prior theft open from 2011. Is this true?
No, he pled to 2 days Harris County Jail in 2011, Judge.
Yeah, that was the reason I transferred it. I thought it was still open.
It's not open now.
It's not. In J-Web, it's closed out.
And I have a judgment here, Judge, that he did plead guilty.
So, yeah,
It's a plea of guilty, Judge, yes.
Yes.
Time served.
yes. And you need to understand with your prior, no, don't say anything. The only thing I'm going to advise you is that because you had a prior theft, you are now enhanced to a minimum of 30 days in jail. It says here, before the commission of the offense as alleged above on June 6, 2011, in cause number 174-6608, in the county court at law number 13 of Harris County, Texas, the defendant was convicted of the Class B misdemeanor offense of theft. Therefore, it is a minimum of 30 days in jail in this case. Do you understand? I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I am now forbidding you from going back to this location. If I find that you go back to this location where this allegedly occurred, or if you pick up a new case, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand, sir? Okay. What do you do for a living, sir?
I do apologize. I just my first and last mistake. So
Don't talk about the case. I would only like to know what you do for a living. Do you work?
yeah, I will work.
What do you do?
I work on the store. As a salesman.
How much money do you make a month?
34, 35 hours at $10 per hour.
So how much do you make a month?
1400.
That's the entirety of what you make a month? Who do you live with? Are you married?
Yeah.
What is you're currently married with, you have a wife?
Yeah.
Does your wife work as well?
Mm,
Do you have any children? Can you afford a lawyer? I'll have you fill out an application for me, but I need to know everything about you. I need to know how much money you take in a month. I need to know any source of income that you have, what kind of cars you drive, any kind of retirement that you may have. I need to know everything about you, how much money you have in the bank, and I will see whether you qualify for a court-appointed lawyer. If you do, then I'll appoint your lawyer, but if you don't qualify, then you'll be required to hire a lawyer. Okay, but don't just give me back something and it says all zeros, because that's not true. And I want you, this is a document that you're going to swear to, so be honest. Okay, please.
Sir, come on.
So can you file no going back to that location? Good morning, guys.
Good morning, sir. Was here, that's why.
Jail.
It's jail. Picked it up.
Judge, did you steal my paperwork? Oh, there it is.
She stole it.
Again,
Yes.
Right here.
so who
This
is,
is Mr. Burris, Your Honor. This is for the waiver. This was Mr. Marshall that you and Josh were just finished talking about.
Yes, sir.
A very, very dangerous person. And I'm gonna tell you, what does this look of bewilderment? You're charged with aggravated robbery. You're charged with retaliation, and now you pick up 2 other cases? I'm going to do everything in my power to protect the public. And I'm going to tell you now, if that means having to stick your bonds at $50,000, I will do it in a heartbeat. I'm going to put a whole host of conditions on you. I don't know if you're going to get out, but if you do, you violate one small thing, you will be staying with me. Do you understand? No dope, no alcohol, no going to any of the places where you've been charged with theft or any of the other things that you got, no weapons, and I'm putting an ankle monitor and I'm giving you a curfew. I don't want you out in the middle of the night. Your curfew is from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. Do you understand? Your bonds now are set at around what, 70? Who's representing?
Shreya's representative.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
Josh.
Josh, he stepped out because it was just coming out to sign
Oh,
the
I
condition.
can step in.
No, I think his bonds are wholly insufficient. His criminal mischief is at 1,000. His theft is at $800. That's just, and he's charged with aggravated robbery and a retaliation. I don't think so. That's like, that's, yeah, I'm gonna need, so what we'll do is I'm gonna roll him to tomorrow and we'll talk with Josh tomorrow, but I now find that your bonds are wholly insufficient. You're way too dangerous, man. Way too dangerous.
You need to wait on the bond conditions then?
No, let's have it signed just in case he makes bond now. That way we have it in place. But I'll readdress the bond tomorrow. Perception is reality. So you're wanted out of Kern, California for willful cruelty to a child. Are you waiving formal extradition, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what that means is we give the demanding jurisdiction here, California, 2 weeks to come pick you up. And if they fail to come pick you up within that time, we will release you.
Yes, sir.
You know that California is ready to come get him? Amy?
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Jones, don't talk about specifics in the case, but just trying to get you a bond, turn yourself in.
Sure.
Good morning, Mr. Jones.
Good morning.
Mr. Jones, you were wanted out of the state of wherever, probably denial, I don't know. But I have you here now because your lawyer is asking me to set you a bond.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. I've never met you before. I don't know who you
Order in
are.
the court.
No, my primary concern are 2 things. Number 1, will you go back to the jurisdiction that you wanted from? Number 1.
Yes, sir.
More importantly, and most importantly, are you a danger to the community? I know that you're going to tell me that you're not. Everyone says that, right? But what really dictates is how you look on paper, because that tells me who you really are. So I just don't know. We'll go through all that and we'll determine whether, you know, I do know that you have an open evading arrest in a motor vehicle. So you're now charged with a 3rd-degree felony. And so, all right, Amy, tell me about it.
Yeah, he's wanted from St. Lucie County in Florida.
Florida. Oh,
Yeah.
ouch.
But he's wanted for a violation of probation for grand theft of a motor vehicle. We're asking for no bond at this time. For one thing, he picked up this evading of a motor vehicle while on that probation. He has,
Is this a stolen car too? Allegedly.
I don't think he was charged with that, Judge, so I would say,
Yeah, I mean,
a prohibited vehicle on the toll.
but we had an earlier case today, same thing, in a stolen car, right? Allegedly, and they didn't charge him with the UUV, but they
Really?
could have.
Okay.
So it's intake, I don't know, just these days, it's,
I'm seeing prohibited vehicle on the toll. That's
so
all.
it is a prohibited vehicle?
On the toll.
So
I don't know.
a
But
prohibited vehicle could be a vehicle that
yeah, it's
has
very,
outstanding
very
balance.
vague.
That's exactly right.
Um,
Or no tags or.
What other kind of criminal history he got?
yeah, he has, an obscene number of fraud and forgery charges out of Florida and Georgia.
How many?
22 pages worth.
22 pages worth of criminal history?
Yes, he also has
Whoa.
several failure to appears out of Florida. He was arrested in May 3rd of 2023 for a probation violation in Florida. Of course, this probation violation is for 3 different violations for failure to report and then changing address without permission, I think.
22 pages of priors.
Well, I would say this, Judge, sometimes the one case can take up to 2 pages sometimes, so
Even by that theory.
even, I get you.
He also has misdemeanor and felony willful obstruction of law enforcement officers out of Georgia.
I'm surprised you even got probation. You know, I mean, really, it's, you know,
All the charges were trickled down to 2 counts. So there was, all those charges are the exact same charge, and they dropped it to.
22 pages worth of the exact same charge?
It was 19 charges. And they brought it down to 2. They was basically 2 charges, 2 different kind of charges, but 9 charges of each. So
It happened that would garner 19 charges. That's usually something where you have like a mass event, like a shooting or like,
no, it wasn't nothing like that.
The probation violation's original charge, which was a grand theft of a motor vehicle, he obtained that motor vehicle by,
like false
Buying it.
pretenses or something.
yeah, he tried to buy it with a false pay stub for a false company.
Judge, if I may.
Sure.
Judge, I'm not asking for a PR bond. I'm asking for, even if you consider a bond, a high bond amount that would allow him to go turn himself in. He would have skin in the game. It's a monetary sum that would ensure that he goes and turns himself in. He hasn't messed up in your court before.
Seen.
I'm sorry. And so it would allow him to at least go present himself while also understanding the risk of losing a big deal of money. So I'd say that.
Whose money? Not his money. What kind of money you got? Doing what?
You know, I'd like to afford him the opportunity to post that bond,
Uh,
if you entertain.
Well, the
giving him-
first thing I'd need to know is out of the 22 pages, what are all those, I'd like a list of like every single charge that he's ever had.
Okay.
I'd like to know the disposition of those charges
Okay.
because, you know, the problem is, Mr. Jones, is that when you have too much baggage, the more baggage you have, the higher of a flight risk you are. Because you know that at some point you're gonna have to answer to those charges and you're gonna try to,
But I answered to all those charges.
well, I don't know that. I know you're telling me that,
I
but
understand, but those, I handled that. That was my first real case, and I handled it.
yeah, I mean, and
And
I
some
mean-
of those with like with the FTA and stuff, I turned myself in. It was misunderstandings with court dates and stuff like that. And it'll show where I turned myself in like multiple times.
in this case here, you're trying to evade capture here. I mean, so I don't know, you know, I'd need to know a lot more about you before I were to grant you a bond, you know?
Like the current case, I can't speak on that right now. but
Don't, right,
All
don't.
the other cases, I turned myself in and I handled what I needed to handle.
You know, has he ever had a prior fugitive case before? Out of where? So Ricardo, if you want, we can do a deeper dive, or you guys can do a deeper dive and let me know more about him.
Here's the thing, Judge, I don't think it's, here's how this it would work. I don't have access to the 22 pages. I would love to give you the report by tomorrow. I can do that.
So
I
what
just
we can
don't
do
have
is we
those.
can ask Amy to print you out the NCIC report. Can you provide him with a copy?
I'd have to stay, if that's all right with you, Judge.
There, at least at the minimum, I know that they'll let you look at the report. So you can
Right.
look at it and write it down. I don't know if they'll give you a copy of it, but at least you can look at it. And we can try to work through to see all the charges of what they are,
Right.
try to find out what the disposition, but,
I can also go through it and.
right.
Okay.
But with 22 pages of prior criminal history, I'm going to tell you now, it's a really uphill battle to give you a bond. And if I do give you a bond, it's going to be a hell of a high amount now. In the high five digits, perhaps 6 digits, because no, I want to make sure that you turn yourself in. And the problem is that I know that there's a hurricane out there hitting Florida. So it's a perfect time for you to give me this kind of excuse there. I couldn't make it there. I couldn't make it here because of this and that. And when here,
Okay, okay, I'll explain to him his options, Judge. We'll go over where we're at and I'll see how he wants to proceed.
okay, but I'm gonna tell you now, if I were to give you a bond, it's gonna be in the high 5 digits.
Understood. Judge, my understanding is he already waived on October 8th, and so his pickup date is.
You know what? And I'm gonna tell you now, we have at least 3 other people here from Florida. And I think it's Miami-Dade, right? Wasn't it Miami-Dade that we have?
Yeah,
think
this
so,
one
yeah.
is St. Lucie County.
How far is that from Miami-Dade? So perhaps we can come get them to pick you up in addition to those 2, because I know that we have at least 2 transports that are coming here to pick up another 3 individuals from Florida. So maybe we can get you on that, and they're supposed to be here next week. You know, so if you waive, or look, like, I mean, you've already waived,
Already waived.
so great. So
I'm not trying to run from nothing. I just want to get this over with.
here's the only other advice I'm gonna give you now, is that you need, if you do go back, you have to stay in contact with your felony lawyer in your felony case, because if you don't, and they think that you've absconded, they're going to issue a warrant in that case. And then the hold that you have here for your Florida stuff, it's gonna happen to you over there, over here, because you're gonna be over there, and then you're gonna get a Harris County hold. So when you do finish up over there, you're not gonna get out, and they're gonna try to transport you back over here. That is Eileen Bogart is your lawyer over there. So just stay in touch with her to let her know what's going on, and that way they don't overlook you. But okay,
Thank you, Judge.
of course.
I'll call my client.
Judge Moore.
Thanks. Can you let Day know